Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Brampton's Memorial Arena here in Brampton, Ontario, home of the Junior A Excelsiors. They play host to the Mimico Mountaineers tonight, and it is the battle for second place in the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League. I'm Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network, and it's going to be a good one here tonight. As we said, second place is on the line here tonight between these two teams. We're just waiting for the national anthem as the teams have taken the floor before we get this one started. These teams have played once already this season. It was June the 3rd when Mimico won 13-10, that game in Mimico. So tonight, a huge game in terms of playoff seeding should we get that far. We will now break for O Canada. One other game tonight in the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League, and that one having big playoff implications as well. Mimico and Brampton come into tonight 10 points back of Six Nations, who look like they will secure first overall seed, but Mimico and Brampton tied 10 points behind with 18, and behind that, Whitby and Orangeville both with 17 points on the season, as Orangeville is in Burlington tonight. So we'll try and keep you apprised of the out-of-town scoreboard as this one transpires. As we said, Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network. And we are live in Junior A as we get set for the opening face-off here. And second place once again on the line between the Mimico Mountaineers and the Brampton Excelsiors. And Daniel Ballowader will take the opening face-off, winning that away from Kyle Vince. Starting netminders for Mimico in the double blue uniforms, manning the net on our right-hand side is Riley Hutchcraft. Tyler Smith off to our left in the full white, including the white goalie bucket, as they'll watch Jeff Teat, the Junior A points leader, hitting 100 earlier this weekend. Did Jeff Teat. So our congratulations to him for hitting the century mark with 5 games left to go, as Tanner Thompson will put it to the far side now. Donville finding up top. Crashing hard in there was Justin Scott. And right in on the crease, and an early lead here for Mimico. Not sure who got it. All the fist bumps are going the way of Thomas McConvey as he cut through in on the crease, but it is an early lead here for Mimico, 1-0 on a 2-goal losing skid. Here are the Mountaineers as they lost at home to Six Nations on Saturday, and then I believe it was 10-9 against KW in Kitchener on Sunday evening. Kieran Costello picked up his first Junior A goal in that Six Nations game. The ball gets bounced up to Justin Scott, far side now. Back again, dancing around Matthew Gaudette. We'll put it in the corner. Gaudette now to the far side. A lot of bumping in on Tanner Thompson all the way over in the corner. Most of that being done looked like Austin Hazen. And already the coaching staff on the officials, and they watch Tanner Thompson get taken to task in the corner. So the Mimico bench now going after Jeff Teat, as he was looking for his man in the corner, put it up in the screening. So Mimico will get another possession here. Jonathan Donville, cross crease pass up to Adrian Torek Orban. Started the season with the West Durham Ironheads in Junior B, and this one shot from Donville past the foot of Smith, and Mimico now up 2-0. Torek Orban, a huge season with Robert Morris this past year. Signed on a league transfer, as we said, from the Ironheads. As Ballowader coming after this faceoff, another one that he's pushed back into his own zone. Hutchcraft into the corner to play for it. Looked like Matthew Sykes had tapped down in the crease, but I guess without possession, as the official was right there. And Josh Taguri will send it down the far side as Mimico gets another possession here. Brampton Memorial Arena, site of the 2017 Mann Cup, coming up in late August. A lot to be determined before that, as we are making the playoff stretch drive here. Only a couple weeks left in Junior A, as Pedersen sends it near side for Campbell Parker. Cut to the net there, save made by Hutchcraft as Tyson Gibson corralled the loose ball. Gibson gets it back, takes a couple whacks there from Keaton Thompson. As two teams who have been very good throughout the season. Consistent lacrosse being played by both of these two teams. We'll get into the upcoming schedule for the rest of them, as Brampton's going to score again here, though. Campbell Parker. This one's setting up to be an offensive battle. Already 3-1. Not even 3.5 minutes in. As you know, there's going to be a lot of attention paid to Jeff Teat and Clark Pedersen, 1 and 2 in league points. So they turn to Campbell Parker, who gets the first goal of the period for Brampton. Teat has it now. As Campbell will get away from the scrum, looking for Teat on the near side. I think that pass got tipped, as Costello will pick it up. And Mimico up over center again. Tanner Thompson quickly off to the boards. Thompson went to the middle. He is getting worked over here tonight, and he'll get a steady dose. Takes down the entire pile, though, as two Brampton players go down. He's called for interference, as Torek Orban was trying to find him with the pass. Brampton in transition are going to score and tie this one up, as they took the ball quickly. And they've asked for the ball to the bench here. Didn't catch the number on the goal, but whoever it was has one for the mantle. Brampton with the possession here as well. Mackenzie Burke, I believe, being announced as the goal scorer, as Parker in the middle finds Gibson. That was a beautiful look and an even better finish, as now Brampton will take the lead here. And I think that's going to be an early exit here for Riley Hutchcraft, as Devlin Shanahan will come in. We had two netminders who were near the top of the pack in terms of wins, 5 apiece for Hutchcraft and I believe Smith. Him and JJ Jensen have been splitting time almost equally for Brampton, and welcome to the game, Devlin Shanahan, who has to do the pirouette and take that one out of midair. When called upon, though, Shanahan has had a pretty solid season as well. As Taguri will turn this one back around at center. So Shanahan coming in. Last time he saw action was at home against Barrie. Actually went down the floor. And we're going to get a high sticking penalty here, I believe. Another scrum in the middle, and the stick getting a little high from Ben French into the face mask of Adam Weideman. And the explanation given to Tanner Thompson as Brampton goes man up here. Seth Van Scheppen into the middle. Takes a big whack. Here's Teat into the corner. Parker looking to the middle, though. That one bounces off a stick back for Gibson. Now Teat and Van Scheppen yet to make it into the corner as Van Scheppen takes the shot off the right shoulder of Shanahan. And then Van Scheppen falls as Robert Hudson takes off down the far side. Shot clock turns off here with 35 seconds gone in the power play for Brampton. Gaudette crashes into the double team and then gets taken down. Bench screaming for a high stick. No call coming as Luke Van Scheppen will pick up the errant ball. Jeff Teat, hidden ball play between him and Parker. Now gives to Gibson up top. Couple big whacks in the middle. A lot of sound coming off those as power play reaches the halfway mark. Save from Shanahan, rolls out to Pedersen though. Gibson with it, Teat into the corner. 13:20 left in period number 1 here. Already 3-2 in favor of Brampton as these two teams went back and forth. And now another shot that goes wide off the backboards though. Gibson has it up top. Hard pass into the corner. Out on Teat, late in the shot clock as the defense locks on. Teat posturing up in front of Mimico's bench, and it's just out of the reach of Keaton Thompson, so a fresh 30 as Gibson picks it up. Probably last possession here in the power play as there's only 10 seconds remaining. Teat for Gibson. Into the corner here, no shot for Parker. So Pedersen goes back to Gibson, and French about to make his way back onto the floor. Teat from behind the net. Pass knocked down, and the shot clock sounded, but Shanahan had made the save. And it'll be 4-2 for Brampton on the quick stick pass. Started with Teat in behind the net. The outcoming pass was knocked down, and now a 4-goal run here for Brampton. As Mimico quickly went up 2-0, and now the last 4 have gone to the home side, and they're up by 2. Big battle here at the dot, though, between Kyle Vince and Ballawader, who thought he had it. Then McClellan thought he picked up. That's going to allow Mimico to gain possession. And Pedersen unassisted is the call. I was pretty sure that one made its way across off the rebound, which... Anyway, here's Pedersen on the goal. Donville with the ball taken down in front. Josh Medeiros looking for a call as him and Donville got collided with each other. Teat gets taken hard into the outside boards, and both officials' arms go up. And Steve Toll not happy with that call, as again, like we said, he's seen his star player get tossed around. They tried to do the same to Teat, and the penalty will be coming here on the late hit. Probably a rough would be my guess. But Mimico going back to the box. It'll be Warren Jeffrey, and it'll be a high sticking call. Again, in summer ball here, that not an automatic major as it is in the winter. So Teat starting here with the second power play of the game. 0 for 1 so far, as Mimico was able to shut down the initial opportunity. But shortly thereafter, the Excelsiors able to get a rebound goal from Pedersen. Seth Van Scheppen filled in as he let that shot go. Save made, though, and hung on to by Shanahan. He gets it as far as center, where Boudreau picks up and races in to force Shanahan into another save. And now we're going to get a high stick here against Boudreau as a 10-second violation against Hudson. It's actually a pretty smart play. Was waiting for them to just turn the ball over, but Hudson, realizing he was late in the 10 count, hung on to stop possession, and that'll gain them a couple extra ticks of power play time on the backside in 1:15 when their penalty will expire. 4-on-4 lacrosse here inside Memorial Arena as Ben French takes the shot. Smith hasn't had a lot of action here in this game, but think that, I want to say, his first save halfway through the period here as Weideman takes this one in. Shanahan, another save. It drops down right in front of Joey Zabo, who picks up and runs down the far side. Zabo slams on the brakes as Torek Orban comes off the bench. Simon's trailing. Torek Orban trying to spin away. Up for Thompson, and McClellan gets dropped. Another possession with no shot here for the Mountaineers. Back half of the first period, 2-goal lead for the Excelsiors with 20 seconds left, 4-on-4. Parker tied up in the middle. Pedersen looking to go airborne and tapped down in the crease beforehand. Parker hanging onto the ball here. Bench now asking for the delay of game penalty. For those of you that haven't seen one of our broadcasts here at Memorial Arena, Shanahan coming to the bench here as Mimico about to go get their penalized player back on the floor and go power play. They'll keep their top 5 out. Shanahan will be replaced by the penalized player. French quickly down the floor. We're situated right over top of the benches as Brampton takes this in hard. Teat, extra bump in the corner. We'll stop the clock here momentarily. 15 seconds left to kill off the penalty, but Teat gets taken down. And this will be pushed down the far side. We're situated, as we said, right on top of the benches, so we can hear pretty much every conversation and every call for a penalty, especially from the visitors' side, as they're just off to the right, just over the cliff here inside Memorial Arena. Give and go here. Pedersen makes his way to the crease, and Shanahan will gobble that one up to keep the lead at 2. 4-2 for the Excelsiors. Again, a couple penalties early on in the game as they went back and forth, but 4-goal run stopped, at least for now, by the Excelsiors, and it will now turn back Mimico's way. Alex Simons, I believe. Ballowader and Vince back to the dot. 4-3 for the Excelsiors now. As we have had a couple penalties in this game. No power play goals yet to speak of, though. 8 minutes remaining in the period. 1 goal lead for the home side. And Peyton Cormier being announced as the goal scorer. As the ball gets returned to the near side, Matthew Gaudette. Van Scheppen goes down. You can hear Brampton bench wanting the interference call. Is Tanner Thompson. His shot was saved by Smith. Thompson tied up here on the near side, as a lot of action over on the far side as they work hard for the loose ball. And that's going to get a warning from the official. Teat getting worked over hard now again in front of Brampton's bench. Parker coming over to help out. He runs hard into Jeffrey. The action seems to be more off ball here tonight than it is with the ball carriers, as they're on the far side for Tyson Gibson. Takes a couple big whacks as now Parker being worked over in the middle. Teat on the ball. Parker sets the pick and the defender lost the ball. Shot clock goes. Parker still taking the shot. And Mimico going to push down the far side. Here's the shot and a big whack after the fact as Donville gets one in on net. And Donville and Travis Burton into each other's face. We're going to go back 4-on-4 here. Referee Wilson, after Tanner Thompson was worked over on that last offensive possession, ran in front of the benches and told them to calm it down. And not a whole lot to speak of in that exchange, but this is more a game management call than anything, I would think, from the two officials. As we said, a lot more action off ball than there has been with the ball. And that's even considering 7 goals have been scored in the first 13 and a half minutes of this game. Gibson backing away, looking for Pedersen on the rebound. Shanahan will drop the paddle on that to gain possession. Minute and a half left, 4-on-4. As Matthew Sykes has it in front of the bench. He'll lead Alex Simons into the rush. Tanner Thompson has this ball drop out the back of his stick. Boudreau first to the boards, as Weideman gets it as well. Boudreau up over center, and another offsetting penalty here as something happened. The only downside of our position up here above the action, we got interference and a cross-check. Cross-check to Simons, interference to Chris Nolan, as there was some kind of mix-up in front of the benches underneath us. So 3-on-3 now for 1 minute and 4 seconds. As Teat Pedersen into the corner for Gibson. Mimico content to let Teat play 1-on-1 here. So he takes a big whack. Pedersen goes down hard, rolling through the crease, getting up slowly as James Guest was paired up with him. As Warren Jeffrey continues to stare down Teat. Shot comes through. Robert Hudson takes Pedersen out of the play as Shanahan makes that save. Rolling to center here, Guest with it. And a big whack here. And more offsetting penalties as Pedersen. Guest goes down, and Pedersen slash to Pedersen and a high stick to Guest. Will keep us 3-on-3 for 29 seconds now. Hope they've got extra pens in the penalty box. Could be that kind of night here at Memorial Arena. As we said off the top, a lot on the line in a game that was very close the first time. And here we go again, as Tanner Thompson took a slash and responded with a half chop to Connor McClellan, and those two will go off now. There's a lot of players on the far side of the floor. Getting a good look right there. 4 aside. Pardon me, 4 for Mimico. 2. How is there 2 for Brampton? Peyton Cormier down the far side, already with 1. Swinging the stick is Adam Weideman. Cormier gets called for a crease violation after Smith made the initial save. And now Weideman will take it down the far side. Gets a step on Cormier. And again, Teat being worked over. And instead of the moving pick, they're going to take a man off here. As Parker sent to the box, there's 2. Found the extra 2. They're sitting down as 2 are standing. As will this make it 3-on-3 still. As Sykes will take it down the near side. Back up top, Torek Orban. Again, no Tanner Thompson on the floor. No Andrew Q in the lineup tonight either. The new acquisition for Mimico as this shot bounces all the way close to center for Justin Scott. Also without Jackson Subak, one of their top defenders, as Smith has to deal with the man in the crease to make that save. Matt Graham also not in the lineup. No Justin Robinson, Theo Dole, James Whiteford, Carter Hastings, or Matt Vince for the Excelsiors tonight. Van Scheppen from up top. That one hits a Mimico player before going up out of play. And that'll give the Excelsiors the ball back here. Minute 10 left in what's been an extended 3-on-3. Teat trying to draw the high sticking call on Taguri as Taguri sends a big chop there for Seth Van Scheppen. Ball is going to squirt out of the stick of Shanahan, but still remained out of the sight of the official. So he does get the whistle. This one will be pushed up by Ben French. French down the far side with 3.5 left in the period. Excelsior still lead 4-3. We are 3-on-3 on the floor for the next 30 seconds as Gaudette goes to the crease and ends up in the crease. Got rid of the ball beforehand as Van Scheppen will chase this errant pass into the far side as Gaudette runs off the floor. Orangeville Burlington at the first intermission tied 3-3 in Orangeville. As we told you, we'd keep an eye on that game for you as well. That one having playoff implications. Here's Teat over the top. So that one heads off the backboards. Here's Gibson. Gibson, couple whacks there from Taguri as the first man's out of the box, and they're going to say he left early. And now they're going to check the sheets. Burlington playing 2-2 nights as they'll be home to the Toronto Beaches tomorrow at Central Arena in Burlington. I know I keep saying it, folks, but another game that's going to have big implications on the standings as the Beaches now currently coming into tonight, holding the final playoff position with 13 points. Just 1 back of St. Catharines, just 5 back of tonight's battle for second. 5 points separating all of the playoff positions past first, which is Six Nations, which you would think that's the matchup that you're going to want to avoid in the first round. And then Mimico on Thursday night will be in Six Nations. A great battle, as we said, on Saturday night at the Mimico Arena between those two teams. So the rematch will be Thursday out at the ILA, and bit of a tough schedule here coming up for the Mountaineers. As we said, Arrows, they get the Arrows on Thursday. Home to St. Catharines, in Burlington on Wednesday, in Whitby following that, and then they'll finish their season at home to KW. Has put together some decent games so far, despite being on the outside looking in at this point. Just 4-10-1. KW, including the win over Mimico on the weekend. Brampton will go to Orangeville on Friday, or pardon me, host Orangeville right here on Friday. That'll be a big game in terms of standings. Round 1 was won quite handily by the Excelsiors earlier on this season, a game you can catch on the archive here on the JVI Sports Network. A delay here, as we said, as they check the game sheet. A number of penalties here in the first period. We're stuck with about 2:45, it looks like, left in the period. 46 seconds remaining in the final, what would be the final offsetting penalties. And then minute 57 on what would be the Mimico power play following all of this. Brampton, as we said, will finish their season hosting Orangeville, on the road in Barrie, in Peterborough, here against Peterborough, and then in KW. So the Braves could do a lot of spoiling here down the stretch if they're not going to be in contention. But Barrie and 2 against Peterborough for Brampton, you could argue it's a much better stretch for them as opposed to Mimico. We've been posting a number of Junior A games throughout the season, and big shout out to all our fans who are watching live tonight from Brampton, as well as we're going to catch this one and others in the archives. We surpassed 13,000 views over the last couple days for all of our Junior A lacrosse action this season. We hope to take you the entire way this year, making plans for playoffs. And, of course, the season will culminate with the Minto Cup right here at the Memorial Arena in Brampton. 13,000 views here on the JVI Sports Network in the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League. So our thanks to everyone out there who's tuned in and helped us stream all those games. Our thanks to the teams involved, and Dean McLeod has been doing a lot for us as well, working behind the scenes, him and the Junior A League. And it looks like we finally sorted this thing out. You can see the explanation underneath us being given by the official to both benches. Trying to listen in myself, but sounds like more of, again, game management than anything else is the discussion going on underneath us here. Sounded like the explanation was we'll be 5-on-4 to start the second period. As it looks like we're finally of game action, a extended delay. Here it is 4-3 in favor of the Excelsiors. They went on a 4-0 run earlier on in the period. Mimico had also put together a 2-0 run to start the game. They've clawed back with 1 in all of this penalty kerfuffle as we near the final 2 minutes of the period here. Adrian Torek-Orban down the far side. His shot off the shoulder of Smith. He wasn't sure where it was as it bounded off the glass in behind him as Medeiros works down the far side. Josh Medeiros will bring it over center as we're in the final 2 minutes. Only 1 minute left on the board in the penalty, but as we heard the explanation, it sounded like they're going to start 5-on-4 to start the second period. As the entire pile goes down, Matthew Sykes along with Tyson Gibson. A big whack on the way out. And Gibson has something to say to Josh Taguri as Sykes heads down the floor. Sykes will pass off to Matthew Gaudette here. Gaudette to the far side. Still 3-on-3 as Ben French gets it back. French over the top, looking to go to the net. Up top to Gaudette. He spins away, takes a shot. Smith with the save. Boudreau will pick it out of the crease as we hit the final minute of play in the period. Boudreau up over center. Kyle Vince now. Vince colliding in the middle. He's got Austin Hazen in front of him. Now T. Hazen takes it, and then great recovery and stick check by Josh Taguri, one of the hardest workers on the floor. And it's going to earn his team a loose ball as he got there first, and Kieran Costello will take it up over center, and the bench screaming for a reset and then a timeout as Justin Scott brought it up to center. Burlington and Orangeville, as we said, in action tonight. Behind this battle as a mass exodus from the penalty box. Again, all of this has had Tanner Thompson and Clark Pedersen off the floor for their respective teams. Looks like Thompson's trying to get the okay to leave, and I think that's part of the reason the timeout was called, to get the top offensive player for Mimico out of the box. And they want their power play here as well, is what we're hearing. As we said, Burlington and Orangeville tied 3-3. Burlington currently 2 points behind Orangeville for what would be 6th place. Whitby and Orangeville 1 point behind this tie for 2nd. So 4th and 5th. 1 point back of the 2nd place battle between Whitby and Orangeville. So Orangeville could, with a win, leapfrog Whitby and the loser of tonight's game. Burlington with a win would put themselves in a 3-way tie for 4th, 5th, and 6th. As again, we said they play tomorrow against Toronto Beaches. And if Burlington were to lose that game and Beaches would win, they'd leapfrog St. Catharines to be in a tie with Burlington. This thing's a mess, folks. Head to pointstreak.com. Over the next 2 nights, though, Burlington, I mean, they could be as high as 2nd tomorrow if they win 2 out. And obviously someone's going to lose here tonight. Could you imagine if we tied here this evening? That's something else we even haven't considered. We could still end up in a tie for 2nd place, as we have seen a couple ties in the season so far this year, and those are the ones that are making the difference. As Steve Toll is still trying to figure out if he's on the power play or not. As I don't think any of that timeout he was able to set up his power play, or any kind of a play, as he was trying to figure out if he's on the power play. They do have a 5-on-4 floor strength. And the official goes to break up the party at center floor. Looks like we, dare I say it, be ready to get back to lacrosse action inside the Memorial Arena, as Donville in the corner, up for Thompson. Shanahan is still in the net, is the one detail we have yet to mention. Donville to the crease, the underhand shot. Smith makes the save. Rebound comes straight to Connor McClellan, though, and coming off the bench, 4 seconds to work with. Here's Brampton trailing the play. Luke Van Scheppen, his shot saved by Shanahan, and it will be a first period lead here for the Excelsiors in one that was filled with penalties, as the officials tried to get a handle on some of the aggressive off-ball play And now one of the interesting perks of this older arena, both teams having to make their way off the floor via the exact same exit door. 10-minute intermission here in Brampton. We're going to take a quick timeout and step aside. We invite you to come back in 10 minutes for period number 2 between the Brampton Excelsiors and the Mimico Mountaineers. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back after this break. Welcome back to Brampton's Memorial Arena. Teams are making their way back onto the floor as we get you set for period number 2 in what was a penalty-filled first period between the Mimico Mountaineers and the Brampton Excelsiors. The Excelsiors come away with a 4-3 first period lead. Justin Scott, Jonathan Donville first for Mimico, and then 4 straight for the Excelsiors. Campbell Parker, Mackenzie Burke, Tyson Gibson, Clark Pedersen, before Peyton Cormier got one just past the halfway mark of the period. As we said, a number of penalties, as well as Tyler Smith makes his way back to the net. Off to our right side as Devlin Shanahan looks like he's going to remain in the cage here. Called on in relief of Riley Hutchcraft, who got the start. As we do want to give some shout outs to those watching in the chat room. We got some Adrian Torek-Orban fans, our live YouTube listeners. Cam Garland, Ironhead Lacrosse, which I believe is an alias for somebody else, but anyways. Jesse Jimerson, a fan of the Six Nations Arrows. And Scar Kellaway, fan out there watching live as well. So our thanks to everybody. As we said in that first period, we surpassed 13,000 views for our Junior A coverage so far this season, as now the intensity in the building picks up as the opening face-off of period number 2 goes the way of Brampton. We'll see if we can keep the penalty box doors closed here in the period as Brampton turns the shot clock off here to start. Oh, pass headed to the crease. Connor McClellan got a stick on it, and it actually tipped the change of direction as Shanahan was down low, as that one was dangerously close to being disastrous in front of the Mimico crease. They are on the power play, again at the tail end of a number of stacked penalties on both sides, as Tanner Thompson, who was caught up in most of that, missed a good chunk of period number 1, gets the shot through, and Boudreau, trying to handle the ball, actually flipped it up into the screening. So 30 seconds left here on the Mimico power play, trying to tie things up. Up top for Thompson. Ben French in the corner for Torek-Orban. Back for Thompson again, cross crease, and Ben French will slip it through the near side, and a power play goal there for Ben French. A pretty crease passing play. Ties this thing up at 4. Again, these two teams fighting for second place here tonight, as they both come in tied with 18 apiece. And the head-to-head battle currently owned by Mimico, as they won the first meeting back on June the 3rd in Mimico, 13-10. So they need the victory, or again, we're still this was a topic of conversation last year as well, as what's the first tiebreaker, wins or head-to-head record, as Mimico was tied at the end of the regular season with somebody who I actually forget, I apologize, but had more wins than that team, who had 2 ties, as Tito put it up top, a sidearm shot that Shanahan saves. And I believe all of that may have come into question after a review, as Ben French gets tied up on the near side. Shoving match ensues between him and Josh Thompson, as the infraction was actually something on the far side, as now we're going to get a penalty to Brampton. as Torek Orban sets a big pick over in the corner, and Tanner Thompson getting tied up. Is he headed off here again? Looks like he is. Tanner Thompson and Chris Nolan now heading off. Tanner Thompson looked like he just got tied up. And I guess with Travis Burton, as they're going to get offsetting roughing penalties. Missed the initial call, but it was to Chris Nolan, so a number of deuces up on the board. Here again, but another Mimico power play, as this one has been a bit of a low energy affair for a second place match, but that's not really the fault of the players at this point. It was at one point in danger of getting pretty nasty, as the Stars were, I don't want to say targeted a little bit, but there was definitely a lot of attention being paid to them. As this shot from the far side, Matthew Gaudette will ring it off the backboards. And as a result, we've seen a lot of penalties that perhaps in the second game of the season in the first period would not have been called if they were just playing ball. But it is what it is, as McClelland will bring it up over center. Teat with it, finds Gibson, and Shanahan nicely to his left, and that makes that save down low. As we said, when he has been called upon this season, as good as Riley Hutchcraft has been, Devlin Shanahan has been right there to pick him up. In a pretty good season as well. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Minute left in the 4-on-3 advantage for Mimico. Down to the crease, the quick shot. Smith saves it out of his feet. Immediately picked up by Luke Van Scheppen, who comes up over center. Down towards the crease, Connor McClelland. Gets back to Teat up top. Robert Hudson on him. Close to the over and back line with the shot clock off, as Taguri has it. Shot clock is ticking down here, as Taguri is about to regain possession. And will, right as the shot clock does expire. Shouldn't have been running, though, as Ben French peels away from coverage. 12 on the power play. There's French coming in as Smith makes the save up the far side. Adam Weideman is just going to hang on and wait for the boxes to open, and another mass exodus here. Not as big as the one we saw in the first period when 6 or 7 left the box at the same time. 3 just this time, as Pedersen gets around one, back again. Boudreau was knocked down, got up just in time, as this one's going to bounce. Does it make it into the benches? Yes, it does. And a late hit after the fact, as both teams make changes, and a lot of touching up as they take to the floor. Tanner Thompson with it now. Thompson, big fake, taken down in the middle, Alex Simons. And we'll get a reset here for Mimico on that shot that goes up out of play. Near side, Peyton Cormier trying to spin away. Torek Orban open up top. They were looking to find him. Now Brampton's bench looking for the high stick. The official right on top as the stick was knocked out of the hands of the man going to the bench. So this will be a Mimico penalty, probably for a slash, as Shanahan makes the save. And we'll go back to the box again. And is it going to be Tanner Thompson? How many does he have? I think that's his 3rd. So we got to keep our eye on the penalty count now for number 17. Is Tanner Thompson in danger of reaching the 5 minor expulsion here? Who thought that'd be the storyline when we pulled in this afternoon? Campbell Parker over for Teat, and a rare miss for Jeff Teat as that one flips out the back of the stick. Boudreau in on Matthew Sykes. Oh, this one close to the line. Looked like ball may have gone over, but nothing of the ball carrier did. As we hit 6 minutes gone here in the period. Just one goal to speak of so far. And it was Ben French for Mimico tying things at 4. Teat and Parker playing catch here. Movement from the left side as Teat wheels to the open side. The shot, Shanahan made the save, wasn't sure where it was. No one could pick it up as it trickled through and does make its way in behind Devlin Shanahan. Big chop off the faceoff, and Kyle Vince goes to the bench, holding his arm awkwardly there. Not sure if there was a slash or something else, but he didn't look to be 100% as he came off that faceoff. Daniel Ballawader looking in that direction as he comes off the floor. A bit of concern behind the face mask there, as falling off pressure was Josh Medeiros. Justin Scott overran the crease, and now a loose ball in the corner. Going to be won here by Andrew Borgatti and Brampton. Flip pass for Teat. Less than 13 now left in the period. As Pedersen takes a big whack, big enough to knock the ball free, as Warren Jeffrey had thoughts of bombing it down the floor with a couple players headed off the bench, but he'll jog it up to center before giving to Torek Orban, and in the corner, Thomas McConvey. He's got to chase his own loose ball. McConvey does get it back over to the far side. Now big rip for Donville, and stepping up in the middle of that was Connor McClelland, and another hack battle on the way to the Mimico bench. Meanwhile, Parker heads into the center, and Robert Hudson there to cross-check that ball free. Hudson on his wrong side will now circle the crease. Overlooks Ben French. Torek Orban with it now as French will go around the pick from Hudson, who stays on the floor here. Sidearm shot from Donville. This one's going to clear the crease after Smith made the save. Torek Orban was right there, but picked up quickly by Adam Weideman. His shot comes in. Shanahan with the save, picked out of the crease by Ballawader. And Pedersen quickly right in his face now as the pace starting to pick up. Hard to believe we haven't seen a penalty in the last little bit. They're working on it, though, down in the corner as I say that. Bit of a shoving match as Peyton Cormier comes off pressure. He's going to flip to French up top, who switches hands and then goes back natural side for taking a shot wide off the backboards. And Luke Van Scheppen will run up over center. Now this is more the match that we thought we were going to see coming into the evening. As we said, some of the energy taken out of the building a little bit with the parade to the box, but a lot of the extra stuff has shortened down, and now we get a foot race. Josh Taguri, oh man, he gets all kinds of tied up by Campbell Parker, and Parker gets a word from Matthew Sykes. And did something happen on the way to the bench there as Matthew Sykes comes off, as does Connor McClelland? That started with a big takedown. A slash from McClelland, and unsportsmanlike penalty to Matthew Sykes. And I might have jinxed that one a little bit. Just after I talked about not getting any penalties, we send 2 more to the box here. This is referee Ryan Wilson. McClelland down the far side. Tanner Thompson there to check it away. Donville with the pickup. Back over top of the restraining line, and Thompson will motion to the bench. for reinforcements here. Nearing the halfway mark of the second period is Cormier all the way up top. French up to throw a pick. Thompson still with it. Trying to get away from Luke Van Scheppen. He does, long enough to get a shot. Smith had a bit of trouble with. Very close to the 5-second count as Weideman will send it up the boards. Vince is back out there. We saw him go off, possibly hurt, but he looks to be okay here as this one's going to skip off the back glass out in front of the benches. And James Guest was off to the races, but it snuck out the back door, did the ball. And Seth Van Scheppen back with it, a shot from Gibson as Guest and Teat were tangled with one another. 45 seconds left here in the latest edition of 4-on-4 lacrosse. Gibson tied up in the middle, as is Vince. Now Teat slides off his man. Seth Van Scheppen through the hole that creates. Shanahan stands tall, and where did that one get caught? In the shoulder or the chin? It looked like of Devlin Shanahan. If you're watching us live tonight on YouTube, we thank you for tuning in. We remind you to subscribe to the channel as Smith makes another save, where you'll be notified every time we post a Junior A or Major Series lacrosse game. Most recently, Cobra Kodiaks and Brooklyn Redmen on the channel. Pedersen can't handle that pass as Kyle Vince had to come back and play for it. Teat, it's out of his reach now as a couple players exit, slashing each other. Nothing still gets called. It's taken down on the far side, Thomas McConvey. Big collision in the corner as Ben French arrives just as Burton sent that one away. Again, if you're looking for any extracurriculars, usually the guy to participate in that would be Jackson Subak. He's serving a suspension as he got involved on Sunday in KW. So he wouldn't be your guy here tonight as Weideman comes straight up the center. Stealing it away from French. Now to Teat. Had the corner briefly, but Shanahan took it away. Shot was high anyways. Weideman's second attempt goes wide. Up top for Seth Van Scheppen now. Van Scheppen far side flips to his captain. Back here Gibson. Fake into the corner. Gibson takes it himself off the crossbar. That one way high. Hits nothing yet. Way up over top of the screening into the beautiful rafters. All the old wooden girders here at Memorial Arena as Teat will get the reset around the corner. Pushing it over there for Seth Van Scheppen. In the shooting lane, Joey Zabo, the Mimico draft pick from this year, as Ben French takes a chop after the fact. Cormier out there now. To Thompson to the far side. Played back for Cormier, who ducks and covers, heads to the crease, takes the shot. He took a couple whacks on the way through too. Cormier trying to get back to the net. Without the ball, though, Torek Orban has this one scoot away from him all the way down the floor, but right to Keaton Thompson. We'll put it back to the far boards, and Mimico will get another possession here. 6.5 left in the period. This one pops away from Cormier as Smith comes out to set the pick. Got it down the far side as Brampton will send it to Vince off the bench, and that one just a seeing eye shot that heads off the post to the left of Shanahan and in. Bit of a lull in the scoring action there, as we only had 2 goals in the period up to that point. But Kyle Vince does get a seeing eye shot that gets behind Devlin Shanahan to now make it 6-4 in favor of the Excelsiors. Ten goals here tonight. And by our count up here in the booth, 10 different goal scorers as well, which seems to be very rare for this Brampton squad. As we said, you'll get a steady dose of Jeff Teat, who has the ball now, and Clark Pedersen, who actually grew up playing minor in Mimico. And junior rights were traded here to Brampton prior to the Junior A team being awarded to the Mountaineers. Shot there, Shanahan making the initial save. Shot clock will reset here for Pedersen in the corner. Petit to the far side. Campbell Parker with it as Teat crashes into the defense with Gibson. Another tie up near side with Austin Hazen. They tried to go to Hazen and Keaton Thompson had his stick tied up. Now Thompson and Hazen a brief stare down as Robert Hudson breaks to the net behind them. Thompson pushed way wide by McClelland. He'll cut back. Up top for Gaudette. Now for Thompson, his shot saved by Smith. Rolls into the corner, Torek Orban there to pick up the loose ball. As Thompson will try and get around a double team there. Chris Nolan, the last man, to take his angle away. Torek Orban facing a double team of his own now on the near side as he couldn't handle the pass clean. Now that's going to be picked up by Connor McClelland with 4 minutes left to play in the period. Most recent goal by the Excelsiors gives them a 2-goal lead. And another one, this one to the left side of Shanahan again. And that one snuck through the underarm, it looked like, as Gibson gets his second of the game. Brampton starting to pull away a little bit. It was a 4-goal run in the first, as now they've put together 3 here in the second. And the stick banging you hear is from the Mimico bench. There may have been some from Brampton as well, but you could definitely see it, as we said again, over our right shoulder here, down past the bird's nest. As Gibson will put in the corner for Pedersen. Back for Teat as they work it around for Weideman. No James Whiteford either in the lineup tonight for Brampton. As we said off the top, he's normally a guy you would expect to get a number of touches on offense. And there was a bit of a discussion on the last scratch. We were told it may have actually been Tanner Thompson, who has the ball now, as his shot gets intercepted by Weideman. But they did go with Tanner Thompson here in the game as Gibson works through, takes the shot, and he's got the hat trick and extends the run here. Pair of 4-goal runs now in the game for the Excelsiors. Again, a 4-goal run in that first period. They've now made it 4 here in the second. And that'll bring it to 8-4 in favor of the Excelsiors. As Gibson back out there after the face-off win by Vince. Pedersen to Gibson, who's got the hot hand right now. Mimico with no answer for that rush coming off the bench. Hazen reaching in the crease. Shanahan has it. Kyle Vince and Jeff Teat getting it started. As Justin Scott has it up top. He scored the opening goal in this one for Mimico. Back for Donville. And a tie up on the far side. More action around Tanner Thompson. He's the only guy headed off here. So he was caught up on defense. And for the 4th time tonight, Tanner Thompson will head to the box. And I think that's what the official's checking on, whether that was 5 or not, but it is 4, and there's his warning, I think. As he closes in on the 5 penalty expulsion. As Adam Weideman went over to check, I think from the Excelsior bench. 2-minute warning here in the second period as Gibson goes in the corner for Pedersen. Up top for Teat now. The Excelsior's back on the power play. Movement off the left side as Campbell Parker into the middle, look to open up a shooting lane, and he's going to get the ball back here. Shanahan meets that one cleanly, and Van Scheppen, though, able to handle the loose ball. Pedersen, Gibson, Teat. Instructions coming from the bench as they go Parker, Van Scheppen to complete the 5-man horn touching up. Teat in the corner, Pedersen, Parker now. Shanahan a quick step to his right to get the shoulder in front of that. And this will be brought up over top of center for Robert Hudson. Halfway mark of the power play as the shot clock will turn off here as we near the final minute of the period. Ben French will carry it up to the top. Pressure arriving. He'll just roll it down into the corner. Smith reaching that big stick out to corral it and bring it back into the crease. As Jake Boudreau will gain possession. Close to center. 36 seconds left in the period. No goaltender out for the Excelsiors just yet. The end of the first period, remember, Mimico burned one of their 2 timeouts for the game. As Gibson will go behind his back now to Pedersen. Now for Teat, the shot handled by Shanahan. And looks like as Robert Hudson touches this one up, Mimico will keep their second timeout intact with 10 seconds left on the clock. Tanner Thompson about to come back on the floor. 5 left in the period. Comes back the shot around pressure. Smith with the save. And that will do it for the period, as it's another good one for the Excelsiors as they put up a 4-goal run for the second period in a row as Ben French got things started for the Mountaineers. But we actually almost started to play some lacrosse there at the end of that period. Will the real Pat Gregoire please stand up? We do have a Pat Gregoire now in in the chat room as well, as we say hi to Ferguson Bellows. And Say What says, I'm so old I can remember Mimico playing their home games outdoors. Well, there's a lot of talk about that down at the Mimico Lacrosse Arena these days as well. Some of the old days, as that's been one of the things about going down. I get a chance to see a lot of those games down there at the Mimico Arena. And people still talking about the old days and when the Junior A team came up. A lot of the fans from the community obviously came out to support the guys, but various people who would say, I used to play back when and played with so-and-so and whatnot. So tonight we're featuring 2 lacrosse clubs and organizations with very deep histories, and they fight for second place here in the Junior A standings as we start to make our home stretch for the playoffs. We're going to step aside here at the intermission break. You can continue the conversation if you're watching live in the YouTube chat room, youtube.com/JVI Sports Network. You can subscribe to us as well. We'll take about an 8-minute break here from Brampton's Memorial Arena and be back with more Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League action on the JVI Sports Network. Let's quickly check the out-of-town scoreboard as we return you back to Memorial Arena here in Brampton. The Orangeville Northmen, about halfway through the third period, lead the Burlington Chiefs 7-5 in that game. Looks like just 2-point Knights leading the way. Nathan Emery, Ryan Lanchbury, Bryce Maya, Patrick Walsh, and an unnamed player. The 5 goal scorers, Jesse Legault in net for them tonight. 3 assists now leading the way for Travis Brown, Austin Lane, Mac O'Keefe, and a few others, as Burlington will be again in action tomorrow, a game that we will have for you via tape delay, as we'll come to you live from Central Arena in Burlington tomorrow night against the Toronto Beaches. In Brampton tonight, though, Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network. It is 8-4 in favor of Brampton after a four-goal run to end the second period. It's been a penalty-filled affair here tonight as Travis Gibson takes the shot in on Devlin Shanahan, who's now in the net to our right. Pedersen trying to strip this ball away. Ends up on the back of Kieran Costello and drawing the minor interference call as the shot comes through. Quick shout out to RG, who was in the YouTube chat room late, who is watching the game live from right here in-house tonight. So RG, we appreciate your support, watching live in the arena and our stream here as well. A big chop there, and then a huge hit on Campbell Parker. We get a slashing call after the fact, but that was a rough shift for Campbell Parker. He took what could have been called a high stick about 20 seconds before that, as Matthew Sykes will be the player heading off. And Parker coming slowly to the bench underneath our broadcast position. Stepping up and tipping that one away is James Guest. Him and his mark both go down, still in a heap down in the corner. Now a second pile up as Jeff Teague goes down. And the Brampton player falling a second time. Official right there, so no infraction called. Meanwhile, Justin Scott will head down. Peyton Cormier wheels towards the half boards, past the double team, one hand on the stick. Cormier the shot, Smith making the save. He's gone through big stretches in this game where he hasn't faced very many shots, but still a pretty solid performance for Smith. As we near the halfway mark here of the power play, Teat over the top. Gibson, him and Hudson were tied up as Weideman couldn't get a ton on that shot as Taguri was in his face. Did get it through. Shanahan with the save, though, as they work down the far side. Ben French will turn the shot clock off as he crosses over center. Now cuts back. Travis Burton up at center, nearly pushing Hudson over, but he does send it down deep. Smith having all kinds of trouble with it right on the edge of the crease. Big chop here from Matthew Gaudette. This one's going to roll free, though, and Brampton will have about 20 seconds left on their power play to work something out here and try and make it 8-4. As Hazen will drop this. Hazen taken hard into the corner as Warren Jeffrey left his post. Shanahan making the save. It bounces right to Jeffrey, though. He has a quick peek for the clock. He was looking to the front door, waiting for penalty to expire. And now he will go to Matthew Sykes, who will put it in the offensive zone. Donville getting worked over. Tanner Thompson with a burst of speed off the wall. Almost nearly took flight there. Sidearm shot, and Smith makes the save. As Chris Nolan got taken down at the end there. they're still playing fierce, but the officials, at least here early in the third, letting them play a little bit. Which is more than we could say for the previous 2 periods. Teat rolling into the corner. Seth Van Scheppen coming away. Austin Hazen near the crease. This one gets pull cued out by Keaton Thompson, into the corner now. Mimico trying to drag it out. Officials gave them a chance to play this one out early in the first, but we saw some very hard off-ball pressure on both Tanner Thompson and Jeff Teat. And then we saw a number of penalties being called, most of them offsetting variety, but Tanner Thompson flipping over the shoulder here, and shot and a goal by Matthew Gaudette in on the crease. As Mimico already without, as we said earlier, Andrew Q here tonight. Tanner Thompson's been in the box 4 different times and twice was caught up in stacked penalty situations, so they've been without one of their 2 now of their top offensive producers here down the stretch since Andrew Q joined the team at the trade deadline. But Tanner Thompson getting caught up in penalty trouble here tonight. He's able to set up that pass. And with his burst of speed off the boards, looks like he's wants to get his team back in this one. One of those players that can take over a game. We've seen Austin Stotts do that before. Sean Evans in major series. Big pick on the far side by Cormier as the shot comes through. This one hits something before going down the floor. Mimico will get a reset, so it must have been Smith. Definitely could have argued for a moving screen, though, on the far side from Cormier. This one now in the corner for Justin Scott. Cormier wanted the pass, it didn't arrive. They go to Thompson instead. That one skips off the turf. And Smith looked like he had a little bit of trouble handling it, as Luke Van Scheppen is right there in on the boards along with Peyton Cormier. It's going to be picked up by Connor McClellan, though, as he makes his way up to center. There's Parker to the boards for Teat. He goes around the corner and throws the head back and will get a high sticking call against Keaton Thompson. So that puts Smith on the bench. Seth Van Scheppen onto the floor as the extra attacker. Quick stick attempt into the corner for Clark Pedersen. Skips away from him, and Balgoator will stop play as Mimico heads back to the box here. Shanahan taking the opportunity to get a drink as they get the penalty killing unit onto the floor. Warren Jeffrey, Robert Hudson, Josh Taguri, and Matthew Sykes, it looks like, for Mimico. Parker, Pedersen, Gibson, Van Scheppen, and Teat, usual suspects for Brampton. Van Scheppen in the middle, gets tangled up with Taguri, who goes down. Teat with it, a sidearm shot. Rifles off the backboards straight into the stick of Van Scheppen. He was close to the crease. Bench wanted a call. And that forced Devlin Shanahan to come up with a save in tight. Far side, though, for Hudson. Swim move there on Weideman. It's around the first man, can't get by Borgatti. Now does as he spins back to his wrong side. Flipped ahead by Weideman. Out of the reach here of Boudreau, who chases it into the sideboards. And all this forechecking pressure by Hudson is just taking time away from the power play as shot clock is turned off here. Ben French held on to, may have gone through the crease, and definitely did, as the call comes through, and it'll be a holding call against Brampton here. As Ben French had 2 guys on him, tried to come back around the corner, and Luke Van Scheppen gave him a tug. Again, still trying to keep our eye on that game in Orangeville. Burlington still trails by 2. as this is the battle for second place, but that one having big implications on someone here in this game as well. As the shot comes through, Smith making the save as the left arm popped out. And Boudreau will go down the far side. Orangeville Whitby 1 point behind these two teams here tonight for what is effectively 4th and 5th. As the ball's on the far side for James Guest. Cross crease for Donville, wide open. He's going to have Smith at his mercy. Tyler Smith not able to get back in position as we're 4-on-4 for another 30 seconds here. But Mimico rolling as there's a lot of chatter. Now on the bench to our right, Taguri goes down off the faceoff. Now Weideman does the same as he spun back around and lost his footing. He gets up grimacing a little bit. Bit of a limp in the right step. As Mimico starting to feel it a little bit as Gibson comes across center. Remember last time these two teams faced at the beginning of the month, 13-10 victory for Mimico in Mimico. So they've now closed that gap, so the goal differential has closed in now for Mimico. Van Scheppen taken down. Taguri comes into the pile, and again, Van Scheppen thrown to the floor. He's down and looks to be hurt as him and Sykes got tangled up. Van Scheppen will now come off as Teat works his way into the middle. Sykes knocks him straight into Warren Jeffrey from his wrong side. Teat taking the shot. Parker in the middle. Him and Sykes collide as Parker goes down. Swipe at the ball and gets up into the face mask. It looks like of Jeffrey. There was a whole ton going on there, and the Mimico bench is upset. Trying the same play again. This time Donville couldn't connect. Action on both sides is now Teat getting involved with McConvey in behind the official as he was coming over to have a word with Steve Toll, who's still having words for the official. 11 minutes left. We are 5-on-5. It's 8-6 in favor of Brampton. Teat way up top is Boudreau. Cleared McConvey out. Mimico cross center here. McConvey over the top. Cormier. Far side here for Justin Scott. Back up top, Gaudette. Big tie-up right near the crease as Tanner Thompson backs away. They go to the crease and then drilled right in front as Matthew Gaudette went down. Chris Nolan did right at the same time. Official comes flying in, and he's got a penalty coming to somebody. Looks like Josh Thompson heading off for an illegal cross-check as Nolan is slowly making his way to the box here. Thompson getting an instruction up here up top. Donville will go to give him a tap as this power play starts here for Mimico. Thompson far side, Donville up top. Again far side, they continue to wheel around. Gaudette briefly. Thompson out of his reach. Him and McClellan go towards the boards as it returned back for the crease that Torek Orban couldn't pick up. So Luke Van Scheppen will send it down the far side. Weideman all alone as he goes to the crease, and the shot gets through the legs of Shanahan. And we're keeping our eye on that goal differential here. It's now crept its way back up to 3. No Ballowader at the dot as they send Joey Zabo this time. Kyle Vince still in there for Brampton though, and it looks like he's, well, going to win it as he gets up and chops at the loose ball. Still loose as it comes towards the crease. Nearly picked out by Brampton, but Kieran Costello waving at it. May have gotten away, and it will be Mimico possession as Sykes picked it up on his way to the bench. Cormier has Scott in the far corner. Keaton Thompson now taking an offensive shift, as is Robert Hudson. Thompson rips a corner. I was just about to say it's a weird look for Mimico. But if it's going to end up like that, they may run it out there all day. Just trying to have a look over the shoulder here to see if maybe Thompson was getting some attention. That's normally his spot, especially on the power play. But looks like he's all right as the pile goes down again. Matthew Sykes over the top to Gurry, hard after the ball as it's in the stick of Weideman. Weideman takes a big whack after the fact. Luke Van Scheppen does as well. They both look to the official as the ball is headed down floor quickly. Campbell Parker to T. Takes a shot from a tough angle. You're going to say Shanahan made the save, though. As Parker takes a whack, sidearm shot around Warren Jeffrey from T. As Matthew Sykes and Campbell Parker still tied up. They're going to share some words as they head off to the benches here. Closing in on 8.5 left to play in regulation time. Big tie up all the way down into the corner. Matthew Gaudette chasing Stuart Burke before finally the moving screen was called. As Teat will take it up at center. Ball heads into the crease of Shanahan. Something hit the post. May have been his stick. As Mimico works it back down the far side. McConvey being worked over on the crease now. Hudson will set the pick, as will Cormier, as Ben French goes over the top. A spin back here from Donville. Now a cutback move as he tries to get away from Boudreau. Looking for French on the crease. Intercepted by Weideman. And Pedersen with speed down the far side. Warren Jeffrey off the bench. Teat, the shot and the save made by the left shoulder of Shanahan. Coming off the bench, Justin Scott. Again, the winner takes second place. If it comes down to these two tied in the standings, again, we got to check on our tie-breaking procedures as they could come into play here. And a couple chops after the fact. This has been going on all night long, and they've been sending them off all night long as Connor McClellan and Alex Simons will go off. Discussion here. They're going to say it went off the goaltender, so Mimico will have possession. Tanner Thompson wanted to run that out. Brampton wants to know why they don't have possession here. And another explanation over to the bench underneath us. It will be Mimico possession. Tanner Thompson already with it. 9-5 records coming in. Brampton Excelsiors. And again, that's obviously with 14 games played for both of these two teams. Goals scored, though, 174 to 128 in favor of Brampton coming in. But one more for Mimico here. They're within one right now. 9-8. And now all of a sudden, maybe goal differential isn't what we need to be worried about, as Mimico's back within one. And the message down beside us is no penalties. 9-8 in favor of Brampton. 2 4-goal runs in this period. Kyle Vince running the floor with the ball in the back of his stick. It's going to get taken all the way outside, still tangled up. And we're going to see if we have more offsetting penalties here. Kyle Vince, the face-off man, and Josh Taguri, the spark plug, for their respective sides. As we close in on 7 minutes left. And they'll each go for roughing minors, it looks like. Again, you'll have to follow us on Twitter for our next live broadcast at JVI Video, but our next tape delay broadcast will be from Burlington tomorrow as the Toronto Beaches will face the Burlington Chiefs. 7-6 now, a final as 10-8 is the score here. As the Excelsiors put another one in. Gibson again, I believe, with his fourth. So there's been a lot of room to work with at times here this evening. But 7-6 for Orangeville over Burlington tonight, as Burlington will host the Beaches tomorrow. Another tape delay game. As Teat will have it all alone with him and Warren Jeffrey. Teat tries to cut back Warren Jeffrey there. Bit of a shove that gets up into the face mask of Teat. He's shaking it out, no call. 45 seconds left to 3-on-3. Pedersen the pick and the roll, the shot. And Shanahan not sure where it is. It rolls out the backside. Jeffrey over to the far boards to play for it. And that win by Orangeville takes them all the way from 6th to 2nd right now. They're sitting second place with 19 points. But for how long? Donville with it. And who will be the team to pass them should one of these teams actually win in regulation? Ben French with the shot. Win outright, no points for an overtime loss here in Junior A lacrosse. As the ball is on the far side by French. Thompson in the middle. Donville with the ball right now. In his face is Mackenzie Burke. Donville off the boards to the crease, the shot and the goal. And now it's 10-9. As Donville has his second. Of course, dare we say it, if this goes into overtime and it ends a tie game, we've got a three-way tie for second place. Orangeville now with 17 games played. This the 15th for both Brampton and Mimico. What a play by Ballowader off the face-off. The entire pile worked to the far side. He put his foot on it and kicked it back to Matthew Sykes to gain possession here for his club. Ball down the far side. Played through here for Justin Scott. Scott wheels around, takes the shot. Oh, Smith went down, shot went high, and it didn't miss the crossbar by much. Cormier around the far side. The shot there and the goal. We're going to have a tie game, 10-all. Buckle up for the final 4:45 here as Mimico comes all the way back. They've been preaching no penalties, and it's been a while since they've gone to the box. And they do end up tying this one up. 4:46 left in the third period. 10-all here at Brampton Memorial Arena on the JVI Sports Network. Kyle Vince with the face-off. That one gets shoveled back. We were actually talking in that intermission about what would happen if Brampton came out barnstorming with the physical play we've seen as Shanahan stands in and makes the save. Again, the start went to Riley Hutchcraft, who let three in early as Ben French puts it to the far boards. Shanahan coming in relief. And has played pretty good. Donville has had the hot hand so far off the boards, has it back. Donville, another shot. Brampton just getting a stick on it. They're going to say that went off the stick before going sky high out of play. And that'll be another possession here for Mimico. Thompson in the corner, up for Cormier. Cormier, a big shove on the far side. He's got away with that all night long. And then Justin Scott ran over and fell on top of the ball, so they call the cover for Josh Majeros. And a penalty coming here to Mimico for too many men. And my goodness, there's a lot going on off to my right now. A lot of penalties in this game. This could be the biggest one as an over-the-shoulder shot from Teat. Hits off the crossbar. And too many players, I believe, against the Mimico bench. Oh, boy. We've got an errant stick down on the playing surface. Mimico wants that returned back to their bench here. So we'll hold on. 3:20 or so left as we're tied at 10s here. Again, both sides with one timeout remaining. They can use here in this period or overtime should we get there. Here's Gibson the shot. Shanahan spins away. Shanahan looking for it. If I'm not mistaken, Brampton might actually have both of theirs still intact as Warren Jeffrey backs into pressure. Hudson setting the double pick as Jeffrey will put it down into the corner. Big man set here for Mimico as Torque Orban coming in. Huge hit there for Weideman, and then extra in behind as Weideman goes down. The first hit knocked the ball free, and the second one caused the interference. And Weideman gets up slowly, heads off. Gibson on the far side. He's had the big stick for Brampton here tonight. Here's Parker. Now Teat. Pick comes high. Teat with it. Back for Parker as the high man, Keaton Thompson, couldn't get back in position in time. Ball off the backboard. Skips off the door of the penalty box. This one high up into the crowd over top of the screening. No offense to the man in question, but Spencer Tanguay styles. Mimico possession as they go down the far side. Deep in the 10 count here. Shot clock off. Peyton Cormier the shot racing over McClelland. The only man it seemed that was going to get there in time and did just at the last second as the shot was about to be released. 2-minute warning. 30 seconds left in the power play as Teat has it. Jeff Teat for Seth Van Scheppen now. Teat up top. Gibson, far side here. Pedersen off the backboards. Oh boy. That one bouncing in the crease of Shanahan before he could get a stick on it. Now Hazen leading Taguri. Down the far side. Taguri will cross center. Turn the shot clock off. Ben French the big pick. Taguri heading off as the ball's underneath us now. On the boards here, killing off the remaining of the penalty is Donville to the far side. French. Torque Orban in the corner. Tanner Thompson now. Thompson, couple touches there from Burton. The shot as he released coverage. It's going to bounce up and out of play. And it didn't quite get to the goaltender. So it'll be Brampton ball as they bring it down the far side. Pedersen with possession. Back for Parker. Teat in the middle, tied up. Can't get it to him. Keaton Thompson spins the stick around and knocks the ball free, but right to a Brampton player. We're in the final minute now as Teat has it. Keaton Thompson all over Teat, as is Warren Jeffrey. The shot and the goal from Jeff Teat. Oh my goodness. 44 seconds officially left in the period. And Brampton retakes the lead. The guy who's been pretty quiet here tonight in terms of goals scored, with two men all over him while falling, takes the shot and makes it 11-10, but we've still got 44 seconds left. Ballowader briefly to the bench. He said, do you want to call timeout? It looks like Mimico's going to do that if they win the face-off. They don't. and Brampton will burn theirs. 41 seconds remaining officially in-house here. And they're saying the second of the game for Jeff Teat. Oh boy. A big 41 seconds here inside Memorial Arena. Six Nations idle tonight. They'll be back in action Thursday when they host the Mimico Mountaineers. Orangeville Northmen just took over second place with their win over Burlington. Mimico and Brampton sitting in behind that with 18 points apiece. Whitby with 17, Burlington with 15. We'll see them tomorrow as they're ahead of St. Catharines 14 and Toronto Beaches 13. So tomorrow, I mean, that could be a battle for 6th or 8th between Burlington and Toronto. Tonight, though, currently the battle for 3rd, but winner will grab 2nd ahead of Orangeville, and we'll have 1 point separating 2nd and 3rd, 1 between 3rd and 4th, and 1 between 4th and 5th. Don't you love summer ball? Goodness gracious. McClelland. Taguri stops him at center as they go far side for Gibson. Gibson's going to hang on here. Smith is in the net, we should say. No Derek Keenan's going on here as Pedersen takes it all the way up top. Shot clock down to 10 now. No sense of urgency as they do have the lead and possession. Here's Gibson to McClelland on his wrong side, shoots and scores. And that'll make it 12-10 with 15 seconds left to go. Maybe not enough. But we remind you, 13-10 was the score in Mimico on June the 3rd. If these two end up tied in standings and points, we'll see if Brampton realizes that and tries to pressure for one more, or if they want to go for the wins total. Again, they may have a better schedule heading down the stretch here. Ballowader won the faceoff. Looked like it went straight back to Kieran Costello, who couldn't hang on. And Brampton now is going to fall back with 5 seconds left to go. Mimico will congratulate their goaltender, Devlin Shanahan. But as we said, not sure the realization there that Mimico won 13-10. So we'll see if tiebreakers come into play and what the ordering is. But that decision not to try and pressure to go for another goal, that could be big. Goodness gracious. What a game, what a season. It's turned into a good one here tonight for second place that Brampton will now hold over the Orangeville Northmen, 1 point ahead and 1 point behind Orangeville. Now in 4th place, Mimico. They went from home floor throughout except for the finals all the way down to possibly being on the road in the second round. My goodness. Tomorrow night, Central Arena in Burlington. The Burlington Chiefs and the Toronto Beaches. Again, Brampton will finish out with Orangeville, Barrie, Peterborough twice, and KW. Long road now for Mimico, Arrows, St. Catharines, Burlington, Whitby, and KW. And we're going to take you all the way. Not sure we'll have all those games. Follow us on Twitter at JVI Video. Subscribe at youtube.com/JVI Sports Network. As this has been a partnership of the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League, I'm Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network. Brampton is now in second place in the standings. What a season we've got here, folks. Can't wait to talk to you next time.